Okay, after I don't even want to tell the story that just led to this recording just now. I pulled the Blaylock, and we'll leave it at that. But we are here with a single mic that we're going to pass around because it's just a new fun thing to do when you're recording. When you're recording something like this. So what I'm going to do, what this is supposed to be, is kind of a roundtable for me to get other MVP thoughts from across the spectrum on Microsoft Teams and Skype for Business news. First, I'm going to pass it to you to introduce yourself, and you will pass it to the next person, and then we'll come back and we'll start talking about opinions on things that have been out there. This is going to be a lot of fun, guys. All right.
Yeah, hi, I'm Ståle Hansen. I'm an Office Apps and Services MVP from Norway. Work at Cloudway. Been knowing these guys for a couple of years. I guess you know us as the old UC architects. Yeah, so all things Teams, Skype for Business.
Yeah, I'm Pat Richard. I'm Office Apps and Servers, or Services, I guess that would be the correct way, right? MVP at Voss Solutions. So, yeah, great to see a lot of stuff about Teams and Skype for Business here. So.
Yeah, and Tom Arbuthnot. My title is Principal Solutions Architect at Modality Systems, but it's all-day Teams and Microsoft 365 collab.
All the way back down. We've got some Swedish candy, Norwegian candy on the table. Okay, so yes, we've got some Norwegian candy. We're gonna have some fun with this. So, I have seen a lot of cool announcements come out the last couple days. I've had some really good talks with people that have been giving those announcements. Really cool stuff. I personally am excited to see some of the new stuff coming with Skype for Business, the new admin center that we're supposed to get with Skype for Business Server 2019, and also stuff a util server that's coming out later, or the PowerShell component. So each of you guys give me a little bit of your thoughts on something that you think is especially cool. It can be Teams or Skype for Business. It can't be SharePoint or anything else, but all right.
Yeah, so two things for Skype for Business Server 2019. I think it's really cool that we get a joint call quality dashboard for CDR records, for reporting, so that we can have one single pane of glass to look at that kind of information. So I think that's good for hybrid solutions and so on. And for Teams, I really like the news around the admin portal, the Skype Teams and Skype for Business admin portal, where you can go in and view an overview over your teams, how many members, owners, and get a better view of the entire ecosystem around your team. So that's my favorite here at Ignite.
Yeah, I've long been vocal about CFA util in Skype for Business Server, so I'm really ecstatic to see that we're going to see some PowerShell commandlets coming to Skype for Business Server 2019 to bridge that gap there. But I also think some of the better integration with the online stuff, like Ståle said, we can do online meetings for people homed in Skype for Business on-prem, so that's going to be huge. So, and then the other thing is the fact that we don't have to use Silverlight anymore.
I know.
On-prem, so finally, yeah.
HTML5, right?
HTML5.
So Pat Richards picks a PowerShell thing. What a surprise!
Yeah.
So I've just worked out I sat in the worst seat because I'm last, so I have to pick something that you guys haven't picked. Yeah. I agree with everything that's been said. I guess one of my big takeaways is that a lot of the Microsoft Teams stuff, the GA stuff we already knew about, some of the verticalized stuff is really interesting. It's interesting to see Microsoft's transition into, it used to be Microsoft did 80% and then partners would kind of do the rest, but Microsoft now are more focused on verticals. And Nadella in the keynote said, I think 18% of the GDP in America is healthcare, so if they can impact healthcare, they can impact the whole country, and that broadly applies around the world. So I think them focusing on things like healthcare and making Teams applicable is really interesting. My other big takeaway is it's a conversation about Teams as part of Microsoft 365 collab. Everything is just bundling up, and it's all about Stack, and it's all about the synergies of the cloud workload. So it's not about just Teams, it's Teams and SharePoint, Teams and Yammer, all kind of coming together to meet business requirements.
One of the areas that I had a great talk with Ann Michaels on was the IT Pro tools, and there's a lot of announcements around the IT Pro stuff. DLP, there was the ability to manage your teams within the admin center now, instead of having to do that on a one-off basis within the application. And there's a few other things, but it tells a much better governance story for organizations that are really still trying to grapple with how they are going to manage this new, expanding, ever-changing application that they are seeing and hearing more about. And so I think the IT Pro area is a big deal as well. We are on day 4. We're on Thursday already of Microsoft Ignite. Tonight is the big Universal party. We've talked a little bit of business, but honestly, I just like hanging out with you guys. So what's the first ride or cool thing you're each doing at Universal tonight? And I hope you're all going. So let's start with that.
So if you're going to Universal, you need to do the rocking ride because it's vertical up, and then you actually lose contact with the seat. It's not healthy at all. So you need to take it.
But you got to do it.
You
right?
got to do it. It's perfect.
I've never been really a big rides person, but I've been hearing some stuff about the Hulk ride. It's supposed to be pretty cool. So the best part about going to the attendee party for me, though, is still the socially networking aspect of it. You know, you get to walk around, you know, spend time hanging out with friends and colleagues and contacts that you only see maybe once or twice a year, or only see at the other end of a Skype for Business or Teams meeting. So just the ability to, you know, hang out, talk about some of the things that have evolved throughout the week, I think is going to be key.
Yeah, I think I'd echo what Pat said. It was interesting. We were talking off camera about how many sessions we got to, and the answer is not many. Like Ignite now, the recordings are so solid that you don't have to feel pressured to get to every session. It is about the drinks, the rides, the evening events, but seeing everybody. I mean, some of us, we know each other really well, but we only see each other once or twice a year. So yeah, getting to hang out with everybody is the key one.
Dr. Seuss ride all the way. I can't wait to do that. Last year I hauled Anthony Carrigal on that thing, and he just did not look impressed the whole time. But I was like, we're going to take selfies, and it's going to be epic. And it was. It was a good time. But the networking and the social aspect, huge theme this year. There are all kinds of the idea swap things going on back there, lots of meetups planned, so much new stuff built around the idea of being social, of networking, of bridging gaps and opening people up to new conversations and new ideas. So I'm excited to do that tonight as well. Friday, there are a lot of deep dives that are supposed to be happening, and there's still a lot of good content happening Friday. And so I'm looking forward to going to some of that stuff. It'll be a shorter day. The day wraps up, I think, mid-afternoon. But do you guys have any big plans for Friday?
Maybe attend some sessions because I had so many sessions myself.
Oh, there you go.
And now we're actually going to one session now, though. But after that, I'm done. So now I can enjoy some sessions, preferably around Skype for Business and Teams and so on. And yeah, so I'm going to be an attendee tomorrow. So
Nice.
Yeah, the same for me. I'm participating in one session, but it'll be nice to sit into some of the sessions. Over 50 sessions on Teams here at Ignite this year. So, you know, last year, the year before, we didn't see anywhere near that, you know, and there's a few sessions here about Skype for Business, one about Server 2019, but a lot of the stuff that mentions Skype for Business Server is how to go from Skype for Business Server to Teams, right? So, you know, what that story looks like. But, you know, I'm looking forward to getting into some sessions tomorrow and then heading home.
Yeah, I've got one more session, so it's a podcast recording at 10:15, which is kind of a wrap up of the whole week. So got a few Teams and Skype MVPs on, including some of the chaps here. We're going to go through what's gone on in the week, and then as you guys said, try and hit. It's all 400s tomorrow, so try and hit some of those sessions. One, if you're here, to watch out for is Francois and Heidi are doing a session on using Microsoft Teams meetings alongside Skype Business Server. That is super interesting. Lots of people on Skype Business Server now still, but taking advantage of some of those meetings. So if you can catch that live or catch it on the recordings, that's one I would watch out for this week.
There's another cool session tomorrow. I think it's the deep dive on direct routing that's happening. So that's another great one. It's Nikolai is going to be there. It's not Doug Lottie.
He's the project manager.
Okay, yeah. And so, but that's happening tomorrow. Should be a great. Direct routing is a hot topic right now. So.
Troubleshooting one from Carolyn as well. It's worth watching that for.
Oh, okay. Teams troubleshooting with Carolyn Blanding. Awesome.
Looking forward to this.
Good sessions tomorrow. Like Tom said, I'm looking forward to participating a bit. Another cool thing that's happening, Anna Chu is trying out a new concept of having auditions for the community reporter role. So some people have signed up for that. I'm hoping I'll get to participate, but it's going to rub up really close to the podcast time. So I might not be doing as much on that, but I can't wait to see what comes out of that. Thank you all, though, for joining me. We've each got to run to the next thing really quickly here, but it's always fun connecting with you guys. Thanks for taking the time to do this, even though I screwed up the way it was supposed to be. Any other final words you guys want to throw in there?
Yeah. So I've been speaking a lot about meetings here at Ignite, and the most feature the users or the audience are enthusiastic about is background blur. So I showed it today in my theater session. People insta clapped. So it's such an awesome feature. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the future here.
Everybody loves the background blur.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's my key takeaway.
Cool.
Yeah, the big thing for me is that just the velocity at which Microsoft's able to update things like Teams, because they control, the client, they control the server. It makes it easier for them to roll out, so everybody gets background blur. We don't have to wait for corporate environments to update things.
You need a newer CPU though, post-Haswell CPU.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, all this stuff. It's you don't have companies that are going to be way behind. Like you have now with people on Outlook 2010. So it's nice that all these come out to all these organizations roughly at the same time.
Yeah, and I guess takeaways for me, a non-technical one, is keep the conversation going, right? So everybody gets there once a year. A lot of people we only see once a year, but we're talking all the time about this stuff on Twitter. On LinkedIn is super active now. LinkedIn is crazy active, more active than Twitter. Don't feel like you can't reach out to anybody talking here, anybody at the show, your fellow attendees. Like, everybody is super accessible, so reach out and say hello.
That's it. You guys don't have too much fun tonight, and we'll see you all next year at Microsoft Ignite 2019.
Cheers.